Friday night was just an incredible evening of music, and one of the highlights was the performance from the Central New York Jazz Orchestra. And the man who's been sitting at the drum chair for that band and who's been the executive director of the CNYJO Jazz Arts Foundation joins me now backstage, Mr. Larry Luttinger. And I know that we stood in this very spot about a year ago, and you were on the brink of recording your debut CD, and you were telling me about it. Now, a year later, the CD has come out. You played a bunch of tunes from it last night. You've had a CD release party. It's called Then, Now, and Again, and it's now reached a national audience. From the recording process to the distribution process, has it been everything you expected, and how much work really went into this album?
Everything and more, especially the amount of work. When you basically form a record company to self-produce and self-distribute, self-market one of your own projects, it's a huge undertaking. And if it weren't for the music industry team from Syracuse University that we put together, some great upperclassmen and grad students through the VPA music business program up there, we never could have gotten the thing out the door on schedule. And it went out in May. Our national release was June 1st. I'm happy to say we're getting airplay on 115 stations or so, coast to coast. They're buying in Europe and in Asia, although I can't track airplay over there. And we're about to crack, I think, the Arts Week Top 50, which is everything that we wanted from this first recording.
It's got to be gratifying to know that you and all the guys in this band, we all know how good and how talented you are here in Central New York, but to now know that people from the Midwest and St. Louis to out west to Europe are now realizing that, hey, you know what, these cats in Central New York are A-list musicians.
We're getting very good feedback from musicians. We've gotten a couple of other big band leaders actually call after hearing it on the radio somewhere and to order a couple of the charts. Our original compositions are for sale through the Jazz Arts Foundation. Wow. And it's also gratifying to have our Jazz in the Square artists give a listen to it and come back and say, wow, this is a real competitive band.
And we should mention, too, it is not just a CD, but a DVD as well.
A movie.
That's right, that's right. In fact, my cameraman at the moment, Tim Haynes, and I were in Rochester, and people who buy the CD will also get to see the behind the scenes of the recording session itself. And from being there, it was really something to see you guys do that. As we stand here, we have got incredible stuff coming up on the main stage tonight, capped off by this incredible super band where you've got a Brecker and a Marsalis sharing a stage together, two names that are synonymous with jazz, and then you have an NEA jazz master and Curtis Fuller leading the way. When you found out that the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed and this super band was coming for Jazz in the Square, I imagine you had to be tickled pink. And what can we expect tonight from this band?
Well, our program already started at 5 o'clock. It's going to go through to 11. It'll be absolutely solid music on 3 stages, not just 1. And we're starting with the finest youth jazz combo in the country at the moment, Noah Kellerman's National Youth Jazz Quintet, followed by a 13-piece salsa band, Alex Torres, Orchestra, Pamela Williams, an amazing smooth jazz saxophonist, and then we finished the night with Curtis Fuller, with the likes of Jason Marsalis and Randy Brecker, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't get any better than this if you're a jazz lover. And even if you're not, even if you don't know these names, it's an eye-opening experience. It's a lot of fun. Our festival's been around 7 years. Our organization is 12 years old. The festival is only about a third of what we do. We started as a jazz orchestra, and we built a winter season of series events around that. We added a downtown theater, a miniature version of Jazz at Lincoln Center. And now we do this festival as our summer season. It's our mission to open up jazz to new people, open people's eyes and ears, and help them discover or rediscover America's art form.
Well, I'll tell you what. Larry Luttinger, Executive Director of the Central New York Jazz Arts Foundation, one of the hardest working men I know, and I'll tell you what,
real hard.
As soon as Jazz in the Square is done, knowing Larry, he'll start working on the 2008-2009 season for the Central New York Jazz Arts Foundation. What you do for this community is fantastic,
Thanks,
Larry. Thank you.
Sig.
All right?
The voice of the Jazz Arts Foundation.
All right. Larry Luttinger backstage here. Jazz in the Square 2008. You're watching it on WAER.org.